welcome back everyone to the Music Lounge. Hope everyone is doing well out there in viewing and listening world.
This is our third episode into season 2. Very exciting.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think we'd make it 3 episodes into season 1. So I think I've used that joke before, so I probably shouldn't be repeating myself.
A sponsor would be nice if anyone's listening. You
absolutely.
Want to make any intros? Sponsor money is always good.
Yeah, or a production company who wants to foot the bill for all of this for us.
Invest in a studio.
That would be great.
Folgers, we need you, Folgers.
So today we wanted to, our guest is Ray Munns, who is a former MTV VJ. He was the final winner of the MTV Wanna Be a VJ contest. After leaving MTV, he was a music producer, a DJ, and currently works in production for MMA. So Ray, we're going to jump to you in a second, but I did want to make one comment. It's the day after the announcement that Ozzy Osbourne passed. You'll be listening to this about a month after that had happened, but we just wanted to remember Ozzy because obviously he was, a huge music artist and, founder of Black Sabbath and a huge solo artist. But for our take on everything, the era that we're focused on at MTV, the Osbournes, was just a huge, huge hit during that time. It was the first reality sitcom that aired on TV, and Ozzy just played the best version of a dad who just didn't get what was going on around him, and he was amazing in it. So
he was in his own world.
Yeah, absolutely. So we just want to say, R.I.P. Ozzy. We valued your contribution to that time at MTV. Ray, did you ever have any interaction with Ozzy or the family?
Well, I got to meet the family once, but it's one of those things where it's the Osbournes. It doesn't matter. I mean, it could have been like a distant cousin, and I still probably would have had a little bit of just like, ooh, look at this aura here. What is going on? What is this aura?
Well, they were
yeah, that was it. I ran away. I said hi, ran away.
I mean, they were MTV royalty for a period of time. They were keeping the lights on at MTV for a while there.
I mean, all of them shined. Jack and Kelly, and obviously Sharon is the boss.
She was such a star.
She was a star, yeah. But, I was in programming and scheduling. So, yeah, pretty much that was our number one show, the Osbournes. And it was a fun ride. I think I met Sharon at like a music event, but never met the band or Ozzy. After my programming stint, I went to the music team and I got to program Headbangers Ball. So I did get to program a lot of Ozzy and Black Sabbath during those years as well.
Yeah.
But but fortunately there is years of content out there for him to live on.
Yeah, we actually had a couple of friends of ours who have been previous guests on the show. Justin Prager and Lou was there too, right? Andrew
He was there. And trio, Steve Gottlieb was there as well.
Great.
Yeah.
So, the Black Sabbath final show that was a few weeks ago, that was in Birmingham. And so anyway, we just wanted to take a minute.
Our previous guests were there,
to remember Ozzy and his huge contribution to both music and to TV. So let's jump into the interview. So all VJs or wannabe VJs have a story about wanting to be on MTV. So what was your journey up until the VJ competition, and how important was music to you growing up?
I'm half Korean, and that's a huge part to play with the story, because when I was 6 months old, we left the States, and I spent the next 8 years traveling internationally, but my first culture, language, and just growing up, I was raised as a Korean boy.
Really?
First language, first everything. In my brain, every American either looked like my dad, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, or Bruce Willis. Those were like
I knew you were going to say Bruce Willis.
It was the 80s. Those guys were dominating. So when I came to the States, I was very much like, what is going on here? Like, I don't see anyone that looks like Bruce Willis. I don't see all these muscular people. Flipping through TV after Transformers and G.I. Joe when I got home from school, I accidentally landed on MTV Spring Break. And it was Dr. Dre, Ed Lover. And I was just like, I don't know what this is, but I love it. This is so much fun. And then there was Pauly Shore jumped in. I definitely self-identified with Pauly Shore as just kind of like the oddball in the room. And I fell in love. That was it. I was like, this is it. Like, Americans, like, get to go on TV, party, have fun, and make money. I'm in. I'm in.
You're 8 years old at that time. Fast forward to late teens, early 20s. You find out about the contest. And so what was that all about?
So when it comes to the contest, I really kicked myself in the butt for not making it to the first one. Okay. And I was like, oh, geez, I got to watch MTV more often. I didn't even know the second one occurred. As in the castings for it. I saw it right when it happened, but the casting portion of it, I had no clue. So I was like, all right, they have to do this one more time. Things come in threes.
You're finding out about this on TV, like by watching MTV.
Yeah. And it's not like they were advertising the casting like 24/7. They just weren't.
Well, it's also
had to be in front of the TV.
Well, it's also like you weren't reading it on TikTok or Facebook or X or any, there's no social media either.
Yeah, this was the time period of dial-up AOL where any of our younger coworkers...
An email address and a phone number on the screen.
Yeah, dude, what did they have on the screen? No, they didn't have any... I don't remember any of that on the screen. I know the year
a letter and a VHS to 1550 Broadway.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
That was what they used to do.
Yeah,
I found out later on that they actually used to even put out in different like backstage castings where they wouldn't put MTV, but they would tell you that they were looking for energetic hosts that have an understanding of music and to send in an audition video. And I got to see the stack of VHS tapes, and I was like, this is how like people normally did it? Yeah. That's crazy. I happened to be sitting in front of the TV. At the time period, I was a sparring instructor at a Taekwondo studio. And the promo for Wanna Be a VJ 3 was a bunch of Taekwondo black belts doing different kicks and breaking boards. And then the last graphic would be like a board would break after someone kicks it, and it'd be like, Wanna Be a VJ 3. Auditions coming soon. And then they started announcing where the auditions would be on TRL. So I got hooked watching because I was like, all right, I got to get all this info. Begged some friends to go. Everyone said no. A random acquaintance said yes. Looked to my dad. Took time off of work. At the time, I was doing framing from 5 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then from 5 until around 12 or 1, I would go and deliver pizzas. So everyone during the contest and after thought I was just like, unmotivated or not doing things in life. And I was like, guys, I was trying to make money.
Right.
I was 19 years old. Like, I was just trying to do my thing. My dad looks at me because I was like, Dad, I'm short a few bucks, and I don't get paid for another week. I really want to go to this audition. And he was like, oh, hell.
Where were you living at the time?
Fort Collins, Colorado.
Okay.
So from Fort Collins, Colorado, I found out that they had 3 auditions, one in NorCal, I believe in like the Sacramento, San Jose area, one in St. Louis, Missouri, and then I want to say the last one was in one of the Carolinas. And the minute I found out St. Louis, I was like, Dad, come on, this is almost fate. They did a Taekwondo thing. They used my favorite color of teal blue, and it's in St. Louis, Missouri. And I was born right outside of St. Louis, Missouri. So my dad goes, all right. Opens up his wallet, and this is back when $100 was a ton of money.
Yeah, sure.
You could get gas for $1.50 a gallon. Like, $100 was plenty. He hands me $100, and he goes, "There's just one thing I'm going to say before I give this to you." And I go, "What?" I don't know if this is the happiest or saddest I'm going to be for a bit. And I was like, "Why?" And he was very matter of fact. He was like, "My gut feeling says I'm not going to see you for a while."
Oh.
And he goes, "Now go get it."
That's very sweet. That's awesome. Yeah.
Nice.
So luckily it worked out that way.
Yeah.
It made my dad's life.
Everything
So
was lined up. It was a calling. It was meant to be. The
oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry I got all
I
You went to the audition. What was the process like?
the audition process was, and this is something that not a lot of people know. It was a lot of fun because I got there and I was one of the first 10 people in line. Being one of the first 10 in line, I was like, all right, we got like 36 hours that we have to wait to audition for this thing. We're all outside standing and the line's getting longer and longer and longer. And even my game plan going was, let's make sure everyone in line has fun. There's a lot of us competing for this. We got to keep our energy up. So I brought a boom box, cases of water, sleeping bags, just all of the things, and became friends with everyone in line. At one point, my acquaintance had brought a bag of mushrooms. So, like, the lead 8 people in that line had definitely consumed some psychedelic mushrooms,
Love
including myself. MTV does have footage of me on mushrooms in that line. Luckily, we're at a legal point right now where mushrooms are being discussed more freely.
it. Yeah.
I took off at around 2 a.m. because one of the people in line were like, hey, I actually have a hotel room. Do you want to go like shower up? Like, you look like a mess.
Right.
And I looked around, asked everyone in line, hey guys, can I go shower real quick? They all said yes. Go shower, come back. And her name was, I believe, Victoria Seaman. She wouldn't let me back in line. And she was just doing her job. She was a sweetheart of a human being, but would not let me back in line because she thought I was cheating and was just trying to sneak in.
Hmm.
Luckily, the first 50 people or so saw me and started chanting for them to let me in. So, being one of the first 10 people there, I finally got to go in at like spot 100. I was still actually tripping a bit when they had me go in for the audition. And this was actually the magic of it all. Reading the screen, I'm reading the prompter. I flub it for a split second because, let's be real, everything was moving on that screen. Not in reality,
right.
but in my reality.
Yeah.
So I get the read. I mess up in the middle, but I just picked it up and kept going. And then I just burst out laughing at my own mistake and the fact of, what am I doing? I came to win some talent competition. Instead, I ended up tripping in line and dancing all night, and I just screwed up the cue card, laughed out loud, and suddenly a man just comes running to the back and grabs me and goes, you, come with me. And I'm like, oh, shit. I'm about to get arrested. That was my very first thought was, I am in trouble. They notice that my pupils are black. This is just all bad. And instead they take me to the back and they go, you know what? You're going to the next round. And I go, what?
Mm.
And they go, you're one of the first people here that we've seen today that messed up their read, but finished it. You didn't go into a full-blown panic mode.
Right.
You giggled it off and you went to the toss. And that's what we need. We need people we can work with. We need people who know you have 30 seconds. We need you to fill the 30 seconds. No more, no less. Walk away. And that was the beginning.
Nice.
And how did you then end up going to New York? Was the next step a trip to New York to compete?
The next step was then we got to go home and they followed us home.
Mm-hmm.
And that was funny. I was 20 years old. I had no clue about production. So they do a follow home and they cut a package. And then we're invited to go out to Manhattan to compete on a 3-hour live show that also included, I want to say, a 20-minute pre-tape segment. And during the competition, I squeaked through every round. And I definitely credit like my hometown, like Colorado people for that. Because throughout the years, a lot of Colorado people that have recognized me are like, yo, when that happened, I remember sitting at home and clicking on your name repeatedly over and over and over. And every time you squeak through, the whole room would just cheer. And it wasn't because of me. It's because it was a Colorado boy up there.
Right.
So they were just cheering for Colorado. Like, this is a sports game and we got to win.
Right.
And I was the team captain, apparently.
So it was all viewer voted, I assume. Now, I don't know if I should ask the question, but was it all on the up and up, or did they already have a predetermined winner?
Well, they did have a predetermined winner in mind. It was not me.
Really?
It was not me. When I won the competition, if you have the footage, you'll see that there was actually a split-second delay. If you work in production, you'll notice that there's an off beat when they come out with the big fake check, the prop check.
Right.
It's because they had to scramble to get the backup check. About 15 minutes before the finale, they'd already written it to Shannon, the girl that was the other finalist. And that was who they actually wanted to win the competition, where she was brought back. I found out later on in my contract that they'd actually brought her back during the summer, and they had her doing pilots and a whole bunch of things, but focus groups just weren't that into her.
Wow.
They want Shannon, but the public wanted you, so the votes out tallied who
Yes.
they thought would win. So, which is actually nice that it wasn't rigged on the back end.
Not rigged at all. And
Nice.
but that's the one thing is I've won a total of 6 times, and it's always been in the last 5 minutes. The first portion of it, I almost blow it off. Half the time I'm in my head going, why am I even here?
Right.
And then by the end is when it actually hits me like, I'm about to lose my job.
Yeah.
I'm about to lose my dream. So
Right.
then you get to see the full me going, no, I'm taking this serious right now. Here's the deal. And that's what allowed me to squeak through. I'm the only VJ they hired and then created a show to fire.
Well, okay, tell that story. I don't know what you mean by that.
I won a total of, I believe, 6 times. And it's because, once again, had no clue about the hierarchy in production, had no clue how production worked. I had Bob Cusbit and Dave Cyrilnik, the head of news.
Rolnick, yeah.
And it was either Time Magazine or Newsweek did an expose on ecstasy. And that was like the big hot topic of that summer, the summer of 2000. They approached me and they go, look, we want to do a show and we're going to set up a rave. And just like you said, raving with Ray, we're going to set up a rave. We're going to have undercover cameras, like they're going to be hidden in pots, plants, glasses. We're going to have PAs walking around. We're filming everything. And I go, oh, that sounds awesome. But then they end it with, we want to see kids buying ecstasy, trying ecstasy, overdosing on ecstasy. This is about ecstasy. Have you seen what's on the cover of Newsweek or Time? And at that point, I was like, no, man, this could be a college kid who was just peer pressured to go to an event and then felt peer pressured to take a pill and is now either overdosing or making a lot of mistakes that no one in public should be privy to.
Right.
This could be a kid on a full ride scholarship, man. That could be the next world's greatest doctor who's just having one night out and we want to ruin his life. No, I was like, that could cost someone their life. I was like, I'm out. And that's what doomed me.
You were thinking, I don't want to get somebody canceled before the word canceled was actually a word that we talked about.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, could you imagine in 2000, you're a college kid, you know, I know a lot of people that went to raves. It's a lot of intelligent people with goals and getting things done.
Yeah.
But to have your life ruined because they see a moment of you trashed, having fun with your friends when you think you're in a private spot, that would have been a gem in their vault for ratings, but I just wasn't willing to participate.
Yeah.
And that got me grounded.
Oh, wow.
I went from doing specials that summer, jumping in on TRL episodes, to where they didn't use me at all. And then I was grounded to menus, which are the little clips where VJs would do voiceovers, letting the audience know what's coming up next.
Right. How long in total were you there at MTV?
A total of 1 year and 6 months.
Okay. All right.
I was the first contest winner to get re-signed, but it wasn't to my benefit.
Why did you say that?
Signed back as a VJ or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what it was is, and Caduce and I had a good talk about this. I'm the one VJ that was never treated as a VJ, and they had a very different set of rules in regards to me versus, say, any other VJ, literally. I was a very heavy anxiety-based smoker, and I had stage fright, and I had camera fright, So imagine me being a TV host. I don't know what I was thinking, but I would sit there, and Carson was a smoker back then too. If Carson and I were smoking in his dressing room, the studio manager would come in. Oh, hi, Carson. How are you? Blah, blah, blah. Do we need to get you an ashtray or anything? And then look at me and go, if you don't put that out, I'm calling the police on you right now for smoking indoors. And even Carson would look over and be like, you do realize I'm smoking with him.
Right.
There are two of us smoking here. And the studio manager would ignore his defense of me, berate me a little more, and then literally tell me, if I walk back in here and you still have a lit smoke, I'm calling security, I'm calling the police, and you're in a world of shit. The only person who stood up to that studio manager and actually had some pull was Kurt Loder. Because he used to come and bum some smokes from me if he didn't have any. And the one time it happened in front of him, Kurt was straight up like, could you chill out? Do you want him to go out front right now and cause a riot? Like, where else is he going to go smoke?
Exactly. Yeah.
Just let him have his smoke. And I was like, Kurt, you're a god.
In
so many ways.
What other on-air talent were there when you were there?
I was there when they discovered Hillary.
Yep. Okay.
And Hillary's just a gem. I was there for Brian's transition from news into the VJ department.
Yep.
And that was also very fun to watch. Carson, Ananda, Dave.
Ananda. Yeah.
They were trying out KK Holiday.
Yeah. Oh, I remember KK
and rest
Holiday.
in power.
Yep.
To anyone who's watching who knows what happened to Ananda. During that time period, she was definitely like an older sister to me.
Mm-hmm.
So that was rough to read what happened with her. We didn't really stay in touch other than, occasional social media. Hey, how you been?
Yeah.
But she was a gem.
So when you got to New York and you're a VJ at MTV, and I guess a young guy in the city, and I've never lived in New York before. I'm on national television. I'm on the hottest show on TV. What was it like becoming a celebrity overnight and then hanging out with rock stars and being invited to parties and all of that great stuff that we don't really hear about? Are there any good stories that you can share about that aspect of being at MTV?
That was the greatest aspect of being at MTV. When I went back to New York from the beach house, I was grounded. For the most part, I took it seriously, but I almost thought partying was part of my job, if that makes sense.
Right. But it kind of is, because it's those relationships that you form with the celebrities and the other talent that it's sort of like that translates to good TV too, right? Because then you've got,
you get the inside jokes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I bet no one else had that personality, so they were leaning on you to be that kind of crazy.
Oh, it was great. Everyone knew if you need to smoke some weed and you come through MTV, you come say hi to Ray Munns or Tech Holmes. Although S Club 7 was someone who should have taken up my offer, because I looked at them and said, y'all smoke weed, don't you? And they go, no. Later on that day, they got busted.
They gave you a salary, right? Did they also give you housing in the city?
It's funny because I kind of assumed that they would at least help with that.
Okay.
And being 20, I lived out on my own for a hot second with a bunch of roommates, but obviously never moved to a big city or gone through the experience of trying to find an apartment in New York.
Right.
That in itself was
a lease and getting a cosign or a deposit and all that adult stuff.
It was very crazy compared to Fort Collins, Colorado. When I moved back after the beach house, I got there the week of the VMAs or Fashion Week, whichever one is before.
Mm-hmm.
So they had me super busy, and they kept me in a hotel for a month. No one really explained to me, you need to get your own place, until a week before they were kicking me out of that hotel.
Right.
And then I suddenly had to do so many menu shots of me just walking around the city going, here's what's coming up next. Here's what's coming up next. I did not find a place to live. So I was officially a homeless VJ for about a month.
Wow.
It.
Just couch surfing with people at work and other VJs and...
Well, the first couple nights it was on benches.
No.
And then after that, it was with a lot of PAs. PAs were the only ones that were very willing to talk to me. And I was told later on by producers who actually approached me in life as adults and apologized to me. And I'm
Okay.
not going to say their names or anything. We have
Right.
a good relationship now, with me and those guys. But they all let me know, hey, we're sorry we kept you at a distance.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I felt very left out during my time there by,
Mm.
from a lot of you guys, especially now that I work production and I see what a team is like. And they were like, well, we were kind of told to keep you at arm's length. That you were not going to be a permanent part of the family, job security, man. We didn't want to be seen with you because that could have affected our futures. And I was like, you know what, that sucks, but I get it. Who was I to you? I was a stranger,
Yeah.
I was like, I think that sucks,
You shouldn't
but
treat people like that, no matter
yeah.
what. And,
Well, I mean, it makes it almost impossible to go to work every day and be the best version of yourself and do the job that's expected of you when you're being told that behind the scenes. That's crazy.
No, I mean, I was called the redheaded stepchild of MTV. Like,
yeah.
older gens would know that's not a good thing to be called.
Yeah.
I wish I could sit here and say it was like the happiest year and a half of my life. I definitely projected it that way in interviews and everything else because I was very grateful. It was still my dream come true. I was getting to interview famous musicians, talented musicians, even if they weren't famous. I was meeting music producers. I got to sit in on studio sessions. Who wouldn't want to do that?
Yeah.
It is a once in a lifetime opportunity, really. I mean, that's what it was for you. I mean, and then you probably were able to take a lot of what you learned there and bring that to your music career and DJing and stuff like that.
When you were in it, did you ever get a sense of like, I just don't want to do this anymore, or you were just riding it out because the perks being a 20-year-old outweighed the corporate bullshit, and and it was easy for you to just ignore that. But now, when you look back, you have a different opinion,
I was a 20-year-old. Once I was able to establish who was against me,
right?
my goal was 100% to win. I wanted to be the next Carson Daly. I saw things about some of my co-hosts, and I'm not going to mention their names because that's just not cool, that were very inauthentic. And I would hear things they would say off camera that were just, it would offend me because I had a much more intimate relationship with my viewers because they're the ones who kept me paid, employed, fed, and gave me the opportunity. Whereas other VJs were all very convinced they did it on their own, from their own skills and merit,
Right.
where I was very aware at all times that no, I'm here because these 8 kids vote for me every day.
Yeah.
Like, you 8 kids, you guys are my boss, not Bob Cusbett. Like,
Right.
you guys are the ones that are going to dictate whether I'm doing my job correctly or not. If you want to follow me all day through Times Square, which would happen all the time, I'd be like, you don't have to follow me from 5 feet away. Like, you can walk with me. I'll buy you guys a soda, like, whatever. Let's go. You know, and they'd catch up and be like, oh my God, this is so cool. And I'd be like, this is actually really awkward. But let's grab a soda. Thank you guys. High five.
You also, I was reading, got some industry buzz with Chris Kattan playing you in a skit on Saturday Night Live. Was that true?
Oh, he nailed it.
Yeah. I have
He
to look
nailed it. I walked into the office and it was that was the first time half of MTV was like a buzz and like happy to see me.
Right.
And I was like, what's going on? Why are you guys suddenly like happy I'm in the building? And they're like, do you not watch Saturday Night Live? And I was like, no, I don't watch anything. Like, I don't even know how to order cable TV in the city. That was the one time I think Bob Cusbett liked me. And it was because Saturday Night Live, word for word, did a remake of like the final segment of Wanna Be a VJ 3. They duplicated our clothing, our accents, our any and everything. They nailed it. Scene for scene, word for word.
Wow.
Yeah. So to have that, the execs at MTV were really thrilled.
Well, you kind of have to know you made it when, SNL does a skit about you.
Man, that's what I thought. This is like the peak Ray Munns career at MTV. Now, I've been doing more and more of the menus, so I thought I was actually finally a menu pro. And they came and told me, hey, we've decided that we're going to start doing videos 11 through 15 of TRL, and we're going to give you a show. And Permagrin, I mean, who wouldn't be happy to get that news?
Right.
I was like, what? Especially because I've been grounded. I literally, there were 4 to 6 weeks at a time where I was not allowed to leave Manhattan because I was exclusive and under contract. But I was also not used on anything.
Wow.
Not even menus, you know? So being a 21-year-old kid in a new city, no friends, it gets very depressing. So I'm sitting there begging for work constantly. During that time period, I did a voiceover for Nickelodeon, got in trouble for that. I didn't realize that Nickelodeon and, you know, they were in the same building, Nickelodeon and MTV.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I thought they were sister companies, that it would be okay.
Even meant sister networks.
I got into so much trouble because I was walking through the building and Nickelodeon producer goes, Ray Munns. And I go, guy in building. And he goes, would you like to do a voiceover for Nickelodeon? And I was like, dream come true. Let's go. So I spent all day doing voiceovers. And then a week later, I got yelled at for an hour.
Right.
But in that December, they tell me that 11 through 15 will be mine. We do some rehearsal shows. Then they tell me we're going to turn it into a game show. And I go, that's even cooler. I go, what's the premise? They go, okay, we're calling it VJ for a day. And you are going to be the host. And we're going to have 3 people come up every day and compete. And whoever wins gets to toss the last video. And if they win X amount, and we'll bring back the winner of each episode. And if they win a certain amount of days in a row, let's say Monday through Friday, they win. The following Monday, the show is going to open with you going, hi, I'm Ray Munns. Welcome to VJ for a Day. Today, we have our winner, Perry, from last week, and he is our VJ for a day. Perry, it's all yours, brother. And boom, that's what it was supposed to be.
Okay. So then you're sidelined for the rest of the show, right?
No, yes.
Okay.
But that was still an awesome concept because then they were like, you will be doing sidebars. We'll cut to you if he says anything funny. If Perry goofs, we'll immediately cut to you. And your job is to go with the goof, toss to the video, and just coach Perry during the commercial break or while the video's playing. I'm like, I love this. This puts me in like a big brother role. Like, there's a lot of fun. Like, I'm in. The day we launched the show, which was, I believe, January 2nd of 2001, we're about to go out. They bring me a new script for the teleprompters and the cue cards and everything, and I'm reading it, doing a quick rundown. I was like, what the? I look at my stage manager. I was like, they just changed the concept of the show. I read my opening, and now it was, hi, I'm Ray Munns. Welcome to VJ for a Day, where 3 contestants come up here to fight for my job and my contract. If one of these guys wins 5 days in a row, on the 6th day, it's going to be a head-to-head, me versus him or her. And if they win, I'm fired and I'm homeless. And that I read that and said, is this real? And they said, yeah, your contract's on the line now. We go live in 5 minutes. You should probably get out there.
That's crazy.
And that's how I found out I was now fighting for my job.
And what happened?
Almost lost in the first week
to
a really nice guy named JR. He was going to college. The production staff had actually deemed him as like the cute frat boy version of Carson. But they saw that his momentum by like day 3 was getting really big. So then the production staff, and they screwed up on this one because they lit a spark that they couldn't stop. They originally created the Save Ray campaign. So on day 4, they sent out a couple cue cards into the audience that said Save Ray.
Wow.
I latched onto that phrase of Save Ray.
Yeah.
And I was able to create my own campaign at home every day after shooting. I'd open up AOL and I would sit there and go into chat rooms and be like, no,
Yep.
this is really me. Like, if you want to meet me, my contract is really on the line. If you enjoy me on air, please come to Times Square. If I can get you in, I will get you in. Bring cue cards, do whatever you can. If you enjoy me on air, I would love to stay here.
Right.
And they kicked themselves in the butt for that one because they just didn't want me to lose in the first week.
Right. Right.
They wanted that drama, you know?
Right. Right.
It's like
And
you know, a Squid Game where you're like fighting for your life, man.
dude, you have no idea. I'm going to tell you another thing.
I can't believe
I had a
I'm
lot
hearing
going
people.
on.
This is coming out in the music lounge. Yeah.
So when I was 19, the Christmas before I turned 20, it was between Christmas and New Year's Eve, I grabbed some LSD from a buddy, and we were all going to do some for New Year's Eve, me and my friends. Except I got pulled over and was then going to court for possession of LSD. So all my MTV money is going to 2 attorneys.
Wow.
And now I'm fighting on live TV for the job that is allowing me to afford 2 attorneys.
To stay out of jail.
So I was literally fighting for my life. It wasn't even like
Wow.
just the job. My attorneys were like, this is going to cost you a lot more money to maintain your freedom. And I was like, as long as I have this job, you will get every dime I have.
Right.
Yeah. Jeez.
So
How long did that show run for, and what was the end result?
that show ran from January 2nd until, I want to say, the 1st or 2nd week of May.
Oh, wow.
It's about 4 or
During
5
that time
months.
period, I had to do 4 or 5 head-to-heads. Actually became really close friends with about half of those contestants. I just went to go see BSB with a guy that was labeled Naked Mike. He was once Boy of the Year for one of the teen magazines. And MTV hated the fact that he and I became friends. And he was even brought back for the greatest or the best of week, where they brought back the highest, the contestants that received the highest amount of votes to then compete again to compete against me for my job.
Wow.
And I did end up winning all of those literally by that 51% margin. And if I can take 1 second here to just give a big shout out to Chrissy Freeman. I don't know if she knows that I know this, but I basically had an undercover PA in the control room. And they couldn't do anything for me, but they could fill me in on what the EPs were all thinking, the executive producers.
Right. Right.
There were multiple episodes where the top EP of the network, Bob, wanted the voting shut down because legally in the fine print, voting during that 30-minute time block had to start right on time. And Viacom MTV had the option after 15 minutes to end voting. There were multiple occasions where I was told that Chrissy Freeman, and I feel bad because I used to argue with her all the time and tell her that she was the worst, expecting me to cooperate with her while she's trying to fire me. And where Bob Cusbett wanted the voting shut down at 16 minutes, 17 minutes, 18 minutes, because I was losing.
Right.
And Chrissy literally stood her ground and every time said no. Ray Munns always wins in the last couple minutes. We're not going to do that to him.
Right.
Like, we're keeping this legit. Like, we're keeping the voting lines open until the last bell rings, and then we shut it down, because otherwise we're literally rigging it at that point.
Rigging it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I read that you left the show as the people's champion.
I did. I wanted to hand over the crown to Joanne.
Right.
And I was told that if you hand over the crown, you will be blacklisted from the industry for eternity. So don't you dare do that.
Right.
And in retrospect, there were a lot of very deserving people on that show.
Hmm.
And some, even during that time period, I would get in trouble because I had a couple head to heads where I was like, hey, I'm just going to throw in the towel, man. Like, this is a good human being. He knows music. I think the network could use a guy like him. And I was always told, nope, if we even sense that you're about to throw in the towel, they'd cut quite a few clips of me going, hi, this is Ray Munns. There must be a technical difficulty, or I must have
Yeah.
slipped and fallen.
Right.
We'll be right back. They're like, that's what those cuts were for. We will put that in. We will pull you off air, and we will just end the show right there.
Wow.
And I was like, God, you guys are so good at these power plays.
Did any of those contestants ever advance in a career in television? Did anyone ever become
Yes.
who?
Wule Parks. I believe he played Lex Luthor on like a WB version of like Green Arrow or one of those shows.
Really?
Remember
Interesting.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, that movie
Yeah,
he
yeah,
did
yeah.
with the
Yeah.
bicycling guys, the guys riding bikes in the city?
Yes, yeah.
Wule Parks was like his best friend in that movie. There was a female contestant that we did a Valentine's Day episode with. I saw her on How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, wow.
So tons of just random little things like that where they pop up in the entertainment space. And I'm like, holy, you made it. Especially
Yeah.
with Wule. Because with Wule, he was someone that I went head to head with. And he was someone I really did want to just give my contract to.
Right. So
I liked him off camera and on camera. And I was
yeah.
like, we need more of you here, man.
You became a DJ and a music producer. So what was life like after MTV?
It was difficult because MTV owned my name and likeness.
Mm.
And because I'd pissed off the wrong people.
For a period of time or
For a period, but the way they did it was really messed up. Because at the end of the year contract, they re-signed me for 6 more months and guaranteed me X amount of appearances, and I would just get paid per appearance. And I was like, okay, that works. I can work with that. They put all those appearances in the first week of that 6 months.
Oh, no.
They didn't use me the rest of the time. And I was even like, hey, can you just let me out of this? I'm fully exclusive. I'm getting movie offers. I'm getting offers for all this stuff, and I can't do anything because you guys won't let me. And they were like, damn straight we won't let you.
right.
We own you. And I was like, well, come use me then. And they're like, no. We fulfilled our obligation. And after that 6 months ended is when the official 1 year of them still owning my name and likeness kicked into play. So it was a tough battle. I just got impressed as one of People Magazine's most eligible bachelors. I got like the 3rd largest spread in there, which was just, for me, that was iconic. I have a bigger picture than Matt Damon. I was like, this is crazy. And I couldn't do anything with it. I had a whole press kit. I had to legally do everything through my corporation, and everything had to be very specific DJ Ray Munns. There could be no Ray Munns. There could be no Raymond Munns. And DJ Ray Munns had to be its own entity. And even then, we had to beg MTV's legal department to allow me to go out and DJ.
And was Ray Munns one long word? Like you couldn't have Ray.
Yeah, we had to legally change it all up so that
right.
I could try and go out and work.
Honestly, I've never heard this aspect of MTV before. I didn't really know this sort of happened. I'm sorry that it happened to you. When we were there in our jobs, I wasn't in production, so I didn't know what production's thoughts on on-air talent were. Oh, somebody's here today and they're not here tomorrow, and you just don't know why. It just sort of happens. And I didn't know sort of all the backstory of what kind of goes on in the production world regarding on-air talent. So, yeah, this is all news to me. I hadn't ever heard this before.
Oh, it was crazy. I like I said in the beginning, I really just didn't understand how production worked.
Right.
I didn't understand that particular EP had so much power over me. And but to this day, if I had to go back in time, would I say yes to that ecstasy like Raven with Ray concept? No, that still would have ruined a lot of lives.
Right.
But you still would
I'll
have
take
gone
one
to
for the
the
team.
audition, and you still would have
Yeah, I
been
mean,
a
I
VJ.
would have gone to prison if it wasn't for the MTV money.
Right.
Like straight up, that saved my, as my lawyer said back then, the one that I got along with better. The other was a former DA, but my trial attorney was very matter of fact. Ray, can you fight? And I go, oh yes, I can fight. I just told you, man, I'm a sparring instructor. And he goes, that's great.
But if
That
you
means you'll
wouldn't
be
have,
someone's little bitch
right,
on day 2 and not day 1. He was like, get more money. You will not survive in prison. And I was
right.
like, that was very vulgar, but I got you, Richard. I will do what I gotta do.
Do you think you would have gone down that road if it wasn't for being in the spotlight of being an MTV VJ? Do you think you would have still found your way down that path?
I would have definitely ended up in prison. I didn't come from a wealthy family. My dad had already said, I will sell the house and go bankrupt to keep you from going in. I already told him, dude, I'll just raise my hand and say I'm guilty. Throw me in right now if you go that route.
Yeah.
I was like, we can't, I can't afford to cost my family,
Right.
I was like, no way, man. Like, I love you.
So
I
it
got in
happened
trouble.
at a time where you could afford to fight,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Yeah.
So if it wasn't for that contest, and that's why I'm just so grateful for it,
Yeah.
I would have been in prison.
There must have been some people that you worked with there that you're still in touch with today, I would assume.
Yes.
And
There were, I had my staunch defenders, and they definitely took some punches for me.
yeah.
Yeah. I know you had one of those guests on, Vinny Potestivo,
Vinny's
one of the
amazing.
greatest men I know.
Yeah, he really is. And Vinny is one of those people. People talk about a stand-up guy, and he is a stand-up guy. Like, if he likes you, believes in you, supports you, he's going to like you, believe in you, and support you, whether you're up or down, whether it is good for him or bad for him. He's just that type of a person. So, I think he's amazing. So,
Oh, and he definitely took some punches for me, and even a couple of figurative punches from me freaking out as a kid, accusing him, you knew this would happen.
Right.
Why would you do this to
right.
me? And he was like, no, I didn't. I am in a different department. I have nothing to do with this.
And that's the funny part too, is you were a kid coming into all of this too. 19 is, everyone thinks, oh, you're an adult, but you're still basically a kid at that age.
Man, I became legal to drink while I was fighting for my job.
Wow.
Right. Exactly.
That is crazy. Yeah.
Producer,
Yeah.
the few times I was invited out to drink, beforehand, I'd get stopped. And they'd look at my ID and be like, no, you can't come in. And I'd be like,
Right.
damn it, I told you guys. And all the producers would be like, we're sorry. We thought we could get you in with some pool or something. And I'm like,
Right.
I'm not Carson.
So post MTV entertainment career, obviously now you're working with MMA, but was there a period of time after MTV where were you on any other shows? Were you just behind the scenes being a music producer or a DJ? What was that sort of time like for you?
Well, jumping into music, I actually got, and this is the one thing that really upset me. I had great reviews from every critic out there for my debut mix CD. And I even told everyone, hey, this one, it's not like a Bad Boy Bill mix. This isn't the most complicated mix, but this is what you will find me mixing at a club if you come see me.
Right.
So I'm not going to overhype it and oversell it to where I can't do it in person,
Right.
And with that explanation, and I even let everyone know, I feel like I'm a bridge right now between two different scenes. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to let people, the mainstream, see that EDM music is not all just dark, grungy, people shooting up heroin or something. Like, that's not what it is.
Right.
And that was my goal. But both albums I released, there's only one entity that trashed both. MTV News.
Really?
Both
Wow.
albums.
Surprise,
I mean,
surprise.
we're talking. Billboard magazine called me the next big DJ.
Right.
Mixer magazine, Spin magazine, every magazine with music was like, Ray Munns is finally doing it. MTV came out on my second album and said, "Who the hell gave this guy an album?" And then in the comments, you could see people arguing like, "That's his second album, bro. Like, are you guys really knocking like someone who came from your stable?"
Yeah.
Right. Right.
At least get the story right. That's his second album. Of course, someone's going to give him a deal. His first album did well.
I think that was
But yeah,
MTV just sticking to their guns on their relationship with the VJ Ray Munns and not thinking about your future and what a good review could do for your career. But it was just like, how can they still play to the way that the relationship that they had with you on and off camera, you know?
yeah. Well,
So,
and I was getting ready to release my album towards the end of that show where they were looking to fire me.
right.
They wouldn't allow me to mention my album. That was a huge rule. If I mentioned that I'm a DJ or I have an album coming out, they would immediately put on the emergency clip and
You would
pull me
think
off air.
a music network would embrace their own talent going down that path.
Yes.
Yeah.
I pissed off the wrong guy, and that was
And what's sick, it is probably one guy that had the power to
it. Really was
piece together.
because I tried even through different talent managers who had established relationships there,
Yeah.
and all of them came back to me with the same story of
Yeah.
he hates you.
But it's
Like-
interesting today, everyone is a multi-hyphenate too. It's like you want to be in so many different places because you doing well one place helps your other job do well too. It's like, which is sort of very short-sighted thinking on MTV's part. Like,
That's some story, man. Today, you're in a career that you enjoy
Yes.
and you have some life lessons behind you.
Oh, a lot. It was actually Rod Asa, who I love to death, who was able to get me my first break into working in production because people looked at me as former talent
right.
and wouldn't give me a chance to work behind the scenes.
Right. Gotcha.
So I worked my way up from PA all the way up. And I also didn't realize that if an EP offers you a higher title, take it. So I stayed at PA for many years because I would be like, no, I need to work my way up,
Yeah.
like rung by rung by rung, so I understand this massive beast that this industry is.
Right.
But man, it takes time.
It does take
It's
time.
okay
It
to
does.
skip a few steps now, I guess. Looking back, MMA medical producer, right? So what exactly is that?
Well, okay, so I worked my way up to that title on The Ultimate Fighter, left during COVID, and with that title, it's unique because most productions don't have a medical coordinator, and pre-COVID, obviously, medical coordinator, medical producers, but on a fighting show, you need that.
Right.
So my job was to handle all appointments, daily check-ins with all the fighters. Obviously, couldn't violate HIPAA rules.
Right.
I had to keep everything to myself, and every night I had to send out right at midnight on the dot, a full sheet sending everyone's medical conditions and whether they can fight or not. Just do, and who's got appointments. What camera crew we need because we can actually film this appointment. It's nothing private. It's an injury that's known about. And that was like the highlight of that, being actually being able to stand there and tell a camera crew, all right, I want to film them going in. I want to film them coming out. We gotta film the doctor, like, telling them, here's what's going on. I was like, I
Amazing.
hit my happy space.
Yeah. You have a life story that most of us don't have, good or bad. I think you find the light out of it,
Well, yeah.
positive. You have to in life, right?
Yeah. My best friend was my dad.
Mm-hmm.
He recently passed,
Mm-hmm.
but we were very connected at the hip. I'm 45. I have lived 3 years of my life without him.
Mm-hmm.
He came to MTV for all my stuff. He hit the road when I toured as a DJ. Anything I did, he was there. And he would always say, everything's going to give you some sort of lesson. And just always remember to smile. That doesn't
Yeah.
mean you're making light of something. Sometimes, even if you're in the darkest room and everyone's frowning, you might be crying on the inside. But if you smile, you might be able to change the entire vibe of the room, where now we can all get at least a moment of just that smile.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I mean, how lucky to have him be able to do all of those things with you. I
I
mean,
was just
that's
gonna say, yeah.
amazing.
Some people don't even have that relationship. Some people don't have contact with parents, so that's very special to have.
Oh, I have had a
Yeah.
very blessed life,
Yeah.
like beyond. Even this. Come on.
There you go.
Like, geez. How many people out there get to tell their story to anyone about
Yeah.
anything?
Well,
And how many of them have it to where it's all about what was the greatest, like, generational cool thing to do at the time, you
You
know?
need, you need to put this into a book.
you know, and we
We'll give you
well,
the
we
transcript.
talk about this all the time, Ray. Is that period of time, MTV was every piece of social media that exists today was MTV all rolled into one. The VJs were the influencers. The shows were what was driving pop culture. The music that you saw on MTV or MTV2 was what was pervasive on radio and in concerts. MTV at that very particular point in time was kind of the greatest place to be.
1000%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, we talk about it all the time how lucky we were to have been able to be there and see all of that and live all of that and experience all of that. And so I'm glad that we're able to hear your story and for you to sort of feel the same way about it also.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've had some people ask me, are you bitter about the experience? You know, you're like, and it was Caduce who asked me a lot of that type of stuff when we caught up and became friends. And I was like, how can I be? A, it kept me out of prison. B, that was a dream come true, man. And when dreams come true, it's not always going to be like what was in your head while you were asleep.
Right.
But
Yeah.
overall, that was a fantastic experience. Like,
Yeah.
I pissed off the wrong guy.
Yeah.
He had it out to get me, but I met some of the most wonderful people that are still in my life. And I experienced things and got to meet, off camera especially, so many talented legends.
Yeah.
And to just sit there and discuss the craziest things. You know, I sat with Slash for 30 minutes just talking about guitars and music and how I'm a failed guitarist and that he owes me money because I went and bought a guitar after watching November Rain on MTV.
Right.
And those are the best stories to have. I mean, you will have that story to tell forever, and that's an amazing part of
It's
being
your
at MTV at the
story.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it. This has been awesome to hear
Thank you so much.
your story, and I mean, it gives me a little bit of a different perspective of MTV at that time, especially how you were sort of treated there, I guess. But at the same time, I'm glad that you came out of it feeling like it was worth it.
Even when life throws you a curveball, you got to be grateful, you know?
Yeah,
'Cause
absolutely.
that curveball, you still have a chance to hit a home run.
That's true. That is true. Well, thank you again for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I was just going to say what Perry normally says in the beginning.
Which I wrote it down and forgot to say it.
YouTube. Listen wherever you want to hear your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, iHeart. Subscribe. We're on social media, and we hope to see you again next week.
Thank
Click
you for
like and
listening.
share.
Click, like, and share. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
Ray.
guys.
Bye.
Have a great day.